I don't know why I ever
Violence-wise?
Yeah. Yeah,
Huge dick, huh?
Yeah, he thought he treated me like I was gonna like be an old vet and like throw my weight around. Like that's what I guess. Like that's how he was treating me. Like I was gonna tell everybody how to play or something or complain a lot. I don't know. It was so weird. I don't really remember having much of a relationship with him when I used to play. Like I was never on creasers. Like I don't know. I don't know how we would even have a relationship back then.
You probably took a shot at his play style at some point, and he took a mental note.
And he literally remembered for 20 years.
I don't know, you've been doing a lot of booth work the last couple of seasons, so maybe you said something.
Oh, I definitely have. I've said stuff about him this season.
Remember all the people that used to hate you talking shit in the booth?
Yeah, they would get so mad.
You're just doing some analysis?
Yeah, it would literally just be analysis. It wouldn't even be shit talk at all. Like it would just be like, this is what I'm seeing. But I don't know. Like, and those guys act like they're so tough. Like, you have so many people in Hockey Zone that act like they're so tough, or they complain about snowflakes or whatever.
Can we get some names?
Anyways, and
What's
they're
the juice?
they're like the first people that are like, I can't believe you fucking said something about me. Blah blah blah. Like, why do you care if I said?
Well, some people take it personally. So people will say stuff like, "Oh, maybe Thrill takes this game too seriously." I joke around about this stuff all the time. I'll make little comments about people that I don't even intend to be shit talk. It's internet hockey, right?
Right.
Like I said something about Cyrus making the best shot he's ever made in his life, and then he references it on Discord, and he says something like, "I'm a real human being. You can't talk to a real human being like that." I'm like, we're talking about space hockey. You know,
that's what I mean.
I didn't say you were missing a 23rd chromosome.
Like, I think
we're still live.
I believe so.
Oh yeah.
I think a lot of people take this game way too seriously, and I take the game super seriously. But there are some people that you can't even talk to them or about them without them getting upset.
Can we get some names?
Oh my god. You know who I'm talking about. Like,
I think it's more people that don't play as much.
Jolworks, I have a question for you.
What's up?
Am I more of a psycho or less of a psycho than you thought now that you're on my team?
Less.
Gee, I wonder how he's going to answer that question as your pocket bitch.
Guys trying to get ice.
I mean, I used to have Leaf on ignore for like 3 years, so now I can. So I just sort of forgot what he was like, maybe. I don't know.
Wow.
Just kidding. But I did have you ignore when I was a captain. Or not a captain, but a ref, and you were a ref.
When I was a ref?
Yeah, you were a ref for like a week.
Maybe a month.
I think it was a little longer than a week, yeah.
You made half my breakaway squad quit when Weeze gave you ref powers.
See, that's a weird thing to me, though. They're like, if this guy gets ref powers, I'm going to quit.
I seriously had to like talk to Weeze after to I don't know, to talk to the guys that quit on my team because I couldn't get them back.
That's crazy.
Boogie was right.
What?
There's no way.
The list of you running people off.
No.
Oh, yeah. Remember he named Logan?
Let the record state.
Logan 36072.
Like, what?
Dude, do you know who was in the zone the other day?
Thief?
Woo.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder who he
came
is.
back like a month ago.
Yeah, but who is it? I mean, let's be honest. It's somebody.
It's got to be, yeah.
Somebody aliasing.
I feel that way about everybody. I feel that way about some of the guys who have come back as beer league rookies that like supposedly played 15 years ago. I feel like
I feel like he had a bit of lag, Sean.
Who?
Woo.
Yeah, but who could even know? We've switched servers and everybody fucking lags now.
That is true.
Did somebody say lag?
That's all you have to do.
You shouldn't even be allowed to play, to be honest.
I just want to know who it is.
Yeah. I mean,
Do you know something?
I've never wanted to. I have alias check powers, but I'm never gonna use
So
it.
you're greasy.
I've never used it. I will never use it.
You're covered in grease.
When did you?
Why you
How
have
did you get alias check?
Why the hell do you have alias power?
What?
I know Buckcat has it. I
Yeah.
don't know that you had it though.
I
Yeah.
think it's a minimum super mod power or above. Has alias check.
I have settings access, so everything that
see.
comes with settings access.
Yeah,
Are
it's
you
just
on
a
the? Are you
sysop
on
roll.
the? Are you on the settings committee?
I don't know why I'm not, but to be honest with you, I feel like I'm definitely somebody.
You may have been vetoed by somebody. I don't know.
You
By
need
who? What
to.
do you mean?
You need
By
to.
who?
The thing is, as the primary commentator, you got to stay out of the committees to maintain a completely professional separation, right?
Neutrality?
I very much disagree with that. I don't like. There's gonna be so little oversight as far as like what happens in that it literally doesn't matter, right? Like, there's probably going to be very little transparency.
Well, LD and Doobie are in it, and they're
Little
probably just gonna
transparency.
puppet master all
I
the
just
strings. So
don't.
whatever LD and Doobie
I'm
want.
surprised I didn't get an invite. Come on.
As far as like the whole process, like you guys aren't going to talk about everything you're talking about. Like, it's just not going to happen. It's not like I'm going to have the option to like as a commentator to be able to review how you guys feel about the game and then the possible settings changes. I feel like they're just going to come out and they're just going to be what they are. You know, obviously with some testing. I mean,
All I'm saying is get ready for another weasel buff.
Another weasel buff? When is the last time the weasel was actually buffed?
You buffed it.
Let's have that conversation.
Probably,
remember that?
probably
buff.
just the slap shot change, I guess. If you,
Yeah, but it got reverted.
Yeah,
Not the full thing.
Yeah, it did.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did.
Not that. No, it didn't. That's not a full revert.
what is? Yes, it did. No, it didn't. Yes, it did.
Yeah, right.
There's no way it was still that fast on the old one.
It's
Well,
still fast as fuck.
Yeah, I
No,
thought
it's not.
Yeah, it is.
It's still very fast.
Oh, why are there not very many good weasel players then if it's so fucking great?
Because they can't pass in the ship and they just throw it down the ice.
Nobody's making the
Yeah,
argument.
it requires basically all of your energy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody. I'm saying the shot is fast. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying the ship is
Okay.
overpowered.
Having a conversation full of boogeyman's here. Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
God.
I mean, you could pull up the logs. They're posted.
If you look up the logs, it looks like a love letter to warbirds.
I mean, you could say whatever is said publicly is on the forums.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, if you look at them, there is. I forget who it was. I think it was Boogie. He was talking about Warbird stuff, and you look at it, and like there were positive changes to it, like 3 seasons in a row. When Arcadian took over, whoever it was.
Arcadian did it 1 season.
All I know is the settings. If you look at the settings log, there is a bunch of positive things for Warbird. When people were kind of like, "Hey, this is a strong ship," that one was kind of weird to me. But
Sean nerfed the Warbird to what it basically is, and Arcadian
not true
buffed some energy on it or something.
And procs.
I'll have to look at it, but I'm pretty sure that
I looked at the fucking file.
I had an embarrassing argument, and
okay,
there was like 3 or 4 seasons in a row where the Warbird got some kind of buff in some way.
Yeah.
Hold on,
So
let me see.
The Warbird had less procs than it does now?
It did.
Ooh. Because it's pretty low.
Trying to see if I can find what that.
I have it. It's right here.
Okay. Can we get it posted in the Discord? Well, does this have all of them?
This is Arcadian's.
Oh, okay. I'm looking for there's one where it has all of them bright in a row.
Yeah, no, he didn't do that. Sean's the last one that did that, and then Arcadian was the one after. And then we've had those settings since. Big E started changing shit, And then Gatto said, no, we're running with the settings we used last year, which is what we have.
I've seen. Where's that? I want to find the changes between like 30 and 34 or whatever.
Let's go, K Rent.
Who would veto me off the settings committee? Unbelievable.
I think your feud count is too high to be on any committee.
But I don't think I'm feuding with anybody on the settings committee, though.
Well, you don't know who's on the
That's what
committee,
you
though.
think.
I don't know all the members, though.
Only 2 members have been released.
What is violence on it? Like,
No.
Get real.
Arcadian, I guess, had he did it in season 32.
Yes,
Okay.
but Sean did it after that.
Yeah.
So everything is off of Sean's settings.
Why did he buff the Warbird so much in season 30?
Because Dai was complaining about it.
Yeah. Warbird procs increased by 2, maximum thrust increase 3.4, initial thrust increase.
wait, 3. Okay.
Where you have a page somewhere around here that has all of this somewhere, don't you?
Some of them were moved to like private forums, if I reckon.
Nope.
I swear there was one.
Sean, you
where
definitely had one before.
It had changes from.
But he had all his
You mean
post
have
history
what?
deleted.
It had like the changes from
You
season.
talking about
like,
forum post?
Yeah, you had a
Yeah.
forum post with all
Had
your
it
settings
deleted.
changes. Yeah, it's all deleted. So that's why you're not seeing what was done.
I have every log of everything I changed in a Google Doc.
Yeah, but anyways, regardless, Arcadian settings are off after yours. Like that's
Yeah,
based off of all your stuff.
I was just trying to find because I remember the last time I looked at it, there was like 3 or 4 seasons in a row where like people were like, "Well, the Warbird's been nerfed, hasn't it?" But then when you looked at it, it wasn't really. In a lot of ways.
Yeah, but none of them. There was a big change when Doobie took over. All the settings were essentially scrapped from that point, right?
Yeah, that was like what, season 26 or something. No,
I think it was like 29, 28, 29.
28. I mean, that was a massive change on the game.
I mean, for the most part, I like where the game is right now. I mean, from what I can tell, I mean, I feel like all the changes that have been made are positive. You know, as far as like balancing issues, I guess there is some stuff that could be done.
Yeah, there's definitely not a problem that there's 2 ships that get used.
Yeah, but all my changes that I said address a lot of that. And if your problems with the Warbird, that's more of like just people don't strategize in this game. Like if people worked like Research does with the Jav, it would be completely different.
Who's really bitching about the Warbird, though?
I see it all the time, but I think
Yeah, but who is it? Who are you talking about?
Pete talks about the double Warbird a lot.
I think he's trolling.
Yeah, he could be.
I don't think he is.
Yeah, I think he is.
I think
I mean,
he's
I would
saying
say-
using 2 is.
I mean, I think he thinks the Warbird is a really strong ship, but I agree with that.
It is a really strong
It
ship.
is.
Like, you can't even argue that.
It's a good ship, but it has counters. It's just the counters aren't used properly. And like I said, if you increase the Jav and the Levy puck time, those are both hard counters to the Warbird if you want to play either of those on forward. So that indirectly buffs or nerfs the Warbird, right?
I guess you can argue if you should try to balance settings to what people could do, because I don't think that there are hardly any people who could plausibly play the Jav very effectively. You know what I mean? Like in a way that would counter the Warbird. Like it could if a good player played it, but
Yeah, but do you want to base settings off of, like, who do you want to base settings off of, though, at that point? You know? Because,
Well, you typically base it off of what the best player can do in it so it doesn't break the game.
Exactly.
Typically.
I mean, I would say that that's definitely where you want to start.
Yeah, but okay, it's still not 100% what you want to do, Sean, because if you look at you and your situation, you didn't play last year, so you didn't get to use any of the Weasel settings.
I said typically.
Yeah, I'm just saying, and then if you look at this year, you're on a team who just clusters and doesn't utilize the weasel properly either. So let's say you're arguing, I'm not saying you are, but let's say you're arguing that the weasel needs a buff. There's no data that suggests that.
Right.
Well, it depends. If you want to use ship usage data, then there is.
Yeah, but I think that's broken because of the terrier. Like, the spider should be getting used so much more, but the terrier's
It's
just...
a data point you have to reference.
Yeah,
I agree.
The thing about the ship
I
usage,
had way more balance in the ship usage when I had control of the settings. Probably the best it's ever been.
Yeah, but they broke the terrier badly.
Well, I don't know what to
Terrier's
tell you
broke.
about that.
Well, when did that happen? When did the terrier get broken?
it just got a series of small buffs over time,
And
in
everything
addition
else
to
got-
in addition to the ass pass thing, and then it was kind of low key, very strong for a little bit, but people weren't really using it a lot. Really, until people didn't really start using it a lot until last year. I mean, I switched to it a couple of seasons ago, but people weren't using it. It was basically the same ship, but people weren't using it like they are now.
Like, I don't care if it has the gimmick of the powerful ass shot if you want that to be an element of the game, but then it can't be better than the spider at everything except rotation. Like, that's just stupid.
The thing that originally got it buffed was because it was mediocre for a lot of years, and because it was supposed to be right average across the board, right? And it kind of got so many changes that it ended up being above average across the board everywhere.
Yeah, I mean it's an incredible ship.
I mean, I've played it for the last 3 seasons, and I always say I've told it the nerd for the past 2 or 3 seasons, and the reason I say that is because I can see situations where I don't get punished, say if I miss a check or I'm out of position, where I can just thrust back and get into position or get a big check, and I don't think that you should be able to do that, right? You should be punished for your mistakes.
Yeah, like you were in the Jav.
I mean, the spider can get back into position too, but it's
Not really.
No, it's different. I've been playing the spider a little bit in scrims. I would still play spider at stay at home D over Terra no matter what.
Yeah,
But when I'm in the midfield and I'm seeing what's like, if somebody flies past me, there's no catching up. And the terrier, I can even catch a warbird just by taking a better angle and thrusting.
right. Yeah, if you could do that. Yeah, it does catch warbirds.
I mean, the warbirds complain about it all the time. Like I catch up and check them, and they're just like fucking terrier. Like it happens probably every game.
Yeah.
Revo,
Mm-hmm.
what's your opinion on random level 1 damage?
You know what my opinion is.
Can we name some names?
You know exactly what my opinion is.
The thing about the ship usage though is the javelin always had low ship usage as well, but it's always been a ship you can't buff that much, or it breaks the game and makes it way less fun.
It needs a ton of usage.
Bravo.
Yeah.
If you want to give me your sales pitch on joining the settings committee, tell me what you do and I'll pass it along.
What I would do to the settings?
Yeah.
Oh,
Give me your
Random
pitch.
bullet damage.
I don't think that should be part of my sales pitch to get on the settings committee, right?
I'm giving you a shot.
Well, no. I'm just saying it shouldn't be like this is what I want to do to change the game. I shouldn't go. I mean,
Yeah, but that's what we all do.
Yeah, but I'm saying like I don't want to go in with a pitch.
He
like,
wants to
saying,
politic it.
No, I want I feel like it's a process. Like the whole thing's a fucking process. I mean,
You're not going to give me any ideas.
So give him your input on what the settings need changed right now. That's all he's asking.
I mean, we just talked about it. But I think that like I think settings are extremely difficult because like changing one ship is going to have a huge impact on the rest of the game. I mean, as far as like a goal for the settings, I mean, I think you want ship variety. I think.
Are you running for president? What kind of political trash is that, man? Just give him what you want changed.
Clearly, it is difficult because Boogeyman looks at the number values and he says that the levy is like the 4th fastest ship, and he has no idea how those numbers interact.
Well, I don't know what his data is either. You know what I mean? And that's the thing too. Like, you don't know what he's looking at. He could be looking at numbers that were based on settings that have now been like when he says 4th fastest ship. Does he actually have the real numbers? And if he does have the numbers, can he interpret what those numbers actually mean?
I mean,
You know?
he can't because he thinks that the Weasel is slower than the Levy.
Why would he say that?
Because that's how he interprets the numbers that he's looking at.
Yeah, but you can just play the game and know that that's not right. Like,
Well,
right?
yeah, that's one of the things I always say about it when I tell him he's dumb.
Yeah, I
Separate.
believe the difference is that the energy cost on the Lev is so high that you just blow it, and the Weasel, it's different.
Well, it's also the change in momentum, right? Because
The Weasel also has really good energy recharge, which actually equates to speed in this game. So, like that's
All right,
also
let's
like
calm the fuck down on the Weasel.
Oh, we're just saying. Oh,
I'll
man,
uphold the veto if I keep hearing this garbage.
are you gonna put this in my pitch?
he's taking notes.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying that like you have to think about all these other factors. Like energy recharge equals speed in this game. So like so like applying even when you look at just flat numbers, you have to look at how those numbers interact with each other and the relation between them, you know? So like the fact that the Warbird is fast, but because of its energy recharge, it can be super fast over long distances too. So I mean that's a big factor. So whenever you look at the other ships, you can apply that same stuff to it. You know, if you increase the energy recharge on a ship, it's not just going to be able to tank more bullets or shoot bullets more often. It's also going to be faster. Like, and there's all these other factors, like the way that these things interact with each other. So I mean, for me, getting involved in the conversation, I think would be really cool. As far
What
as like,
season is that,
32%.
Sean?
How's he doing there, Sean?
Hold on.
like-
When was the last season I had him? 33?
Yeah.
Save me! Bring back the shark 2022.
Look at that Terrier usage.
When I had him, when somebody fucked him up. Interesting.
Well, after Doobie originally got ousted by Kula for some reason, and he just did his own thing and went completely rogue after our 3-hour bod voice meeting that was supposed to kind of be like a run by committee thing. He basically changed everything, right? And that's one of the reasons that Doobie would veto Kula. And he added procs to everything. He added +2 procs to everything in the game. They also gave Jack.
The only thing I'm confused about is on Arcadian settings. I don't think it says anything about the Terrier. So was the Terrier not touched by him?
The Terrier has not been changed a lot recently. That's why I said it was really good and it was low key.
Like, I know I've been complaining about the Terrier for a long ass time, but like, was it just not even touched?
Yeah, I think it's not been touched, and everything else has been kind of nerfed, and it's just sort of.
Well, it also was kind of a thing where it was kind of like just flew under the radar where it was that good, but there wasn't those people using it super effectively where people are like, wow, I got to do this fucking Terrier.
Well, and the meta changes when people see what other people do after 3-4 seasons, right?
yeah, I think that's a big thing too. So it would be hard to say that.
It probably was that. I'll tell you what it was. This is what I think it was. The Warbird was pretty drastically strong for a while, so the speed advantages that the Terrier had did not seem as big of an impact on the game by comparison. It probably didn't seem very noticeable. So
You're agreeing the Warbird's fine.
I'm not saying that's not exactly what I'm saying, but I'm saying after it got toned down a bit from what it was, it you noticed that speed from the Terrier having a big impact on the game.
I mean, I told you, I'd go back to the Warbird from season 25, like, compared to this one.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. I don't know, man. I think that like you can't just look at the game and settings as though you would. I would nerf this ship, buff this ship, and then you're done. I think it's a lot harder than that.
Like, I don't think it's unreasonable that the Warbird dies a lot of the time off ball. I think that's fair. But I'm talking from my perspective of like, it does some good things, but it's completely nerfed on defense with its bullets now. It dies off ball, which I think is fine for the Warbird, but then you can't complain about its speed then.
I guess. I mean, but the whole thing is now is that you're seeing a lot of double Warbird, and that double Warbird is very
But
effective.
people need to learn to adjust. If people ran Jav properly,
I think that the way that Doobie changed the settings made incremental things and speed have a much larger impact on the game, like over time and stuff like that. So I think that speed shifts are drastically stronger than what they were, like in any other setting. So, I'm fine with kind of all the speed stuff, kind of having to look at it and seeing what needs.
yeah, but
to
I
be
like
changed.
the game faster. I don't want to change that.
I honestly really like the slow arena, but nobody will ever
I've
be on
never
board.
played.
with
I've
that.
never played this slow arena, so
It eliminates a lot of lag, and
Can't
even
be
though
that-
it's slower, everything is relative, right? So
it
it's
can't
not
be
like,
that slow. You know what I mean? It's not.
I mean, you're not zooming around, but it's like it doesn't mean less offense because it actually means you can punish mistakes a lot more.
Yeah, but it means that like reaction times are not as important and stuff like that. If you can't think fast
Gotta be
in the
really
faster settings.
Well, I'm not sure if I agree with that, because what I noticed in it was that when somebody makes an error, they don't have time to correct it before you can exploit it.
I'd have to see how slow we're talking about.
He did two versions. He had slow and he had slower. Now I actually like slower better, but there's no way that people will agree to that because they just want to zip around.
Yeah, but then again, like you say slow, but I don't know. There's no way.
He slowed him. I think he did two versions where he slowed it down 10% and he slowed it down 15% globally.
I mean, if a 10% slowdown globally fixes a lot of lag issues, I mean that's only 10%. It's not like you're not going to be punished for decision making.
I mean, we know that's not going to happen, but I'll be interested to see Sean and Doobie together because they did have some differences in their settings.
We look at things very differently.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think that's a good thing.
Doobie is very extreme in his thinking compared to me, and there are probably people that think my thinking's extreme, and he's much more extreme than I am.
Does he want Warbird buffs?
We're not even like talking individual ships. We're talking like gameplay, game theory type stuff.
Well,
right
his game theory I feel like would lead to buffs like that, or maybe.
Well, I mean, let's be serious. He did his own iteration of settings. Like those were probably his favorite settings, right? And Sean's settings were probably his favorite settings.
Get there.
Well, yeah, but I'm sure that was kind of his vision for the Warbird. Maybe it wasn't fine tuned, but that's where he wanted it. You know what I mean?
I think.
But
like if I take the most extreme version of what Doobie thinks, I think Doobie would love for like Proxys to be almost non-existent, so there's just tons of space that you can pass to and through.
Sounds theoretically that would be fun for me.
Theoretically,
it
reel him
back because people can't pass right now.
Exactly, it would be terrible. It would be so bad.
So like, there's a concept there that he wants to get to, and I understand what he's trying to do, and so we talk. How do we get there?
Yeah, I agree.
Like
I don't think it would work at all.
objectively for us, I think everybody's on board with this, including the other two members. I think people would love for there to be less through the midfield, quote unquote, play and more scoring chances, not necessarily more scoring. So there's more goalie involvement. So how do you get there without drastically changing what the game is?
Yeah, but some of that is impossible, right, with how the game is played.
Well, yeah, but it's like you move the dial a click to try and get closer, right? Like we've evolved over it, and there's some ideas that we can test to see if it works. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I mean, we absolutely understand the limitations, and you can't, like there are people that there are people who like the 5v5 SummerSlam, and there are people who don't. And you can't go to that. Like
5v5 is the same as what Draft League is. You're gonna make too many people not want to play it, and you can't have people subtracting from our population.
My point is that there are people who love that style of play. Like it's much more like mini, right? It's back and forth. It's fast. The goalies can see a lot of action. So how do you incorporate some of those things into what RSHL is? Because I think most people would agree that like methodically having to move the ball through the midfield isn't really great for anybody. So how do you limit that and not take it away? Because it's also obviously being able to play a trap and play high pressure strategy. So you don't want to take that away, but like,
remove it. You can't remove
but like, I mean, passing the ball 25 times to get from blue line to blue line is pretty fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion. I mean, it doesn't mean I'm right. It's just how I envision the game.
Yeah, but you also want to be able to stop it at the same time too. So I mean, like, what kind of settings changes are you going to be able to implement that are going to allow you to move through the midfield very quickly, but not break midfield play completely? You know?
Yeah. So that's kind of what we're talking through right now. I mean,
that's a pretty in-depth conversation.
I mean, some of the things that you can do to force it that we're going to talk about trying is you shrink the rink, essentially, north, south, and east and west. Maybe not much, but you see what happens, right? Because it forces the play. I mean, there's just no space.
North-south arena. Come on.
No.
The other is potentially increasing the goal size. I mean, that's going to definitely increase more angles and more shooting.
Yeah.
But you just see what happens.
Didn't you increase it already before the increase that it has now? Didn't you already do it another tile on each side and then you scaled it back?
I think what I did was I ramped up the goalie procs. I don't think I actually took the tiles away. But I don't remember that.
I think you made the net bigger.
The net is bigger.
I don't know that it's bigger than... I don't know that I tried it bigger than I did right now, but I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. You're saying you thinking to compensate for that, you didn't take a tile off. You made the goalie stronger.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember that. But I think you even went one more and then scaled the net back because it was too big. But I mean, it doesn't hurt to try it again.
I don't recall doing that because I don't do the LVZs and all the shit that you'd have to do. Right. So I wasn't going to have somebody build it and then change it again. So I don't think I did. I mean, I may have, but I don't recall that. But it's something we're going to try. We're going to see.
Sounds like something you would remember.
Well, the other concept too, for the people who want to have a more free-flowing game, quote unquote, is like you have to increase 1v1 conversion rates, right? So you have to change that dynamic without breaking it. So having a slightly larger goal changes that.
It probably means you have to have some kind of goalie buff, really. Like,
I mean, there may be one that goes inside, but again, it's a process. I mean,
yeah.
This is all like theory. I mean,
the thing that annoys me is that I feel like we could have been working on this process the whole time if Kula didn't take over and do what he did, and instead we kind of, jerked off for 3 seasons and had to start from, I
mean, the same thing happened this year.
I mean, I think it would be a great thing if there was a higher conversion rate for 1v1s beyond what it is right now.
I think everyone thinks that. I think the problem is that if you're doing settings for that, then I think it just breaks too many things.
Maybe.
Just because a lot of weak people play goalie, you mean?
So you're saying you want people to be able to score when it's just them versus the goalie more?
Yes. Okay. More often than they do now.
I mean, and typically in sports, that is a huge deal, having a breakaway, right? It's not really in here. In fact, there's sometimes you just don't take it and you reset it because it's
a
Low
lot of the time
percentage.
you don't take it. A lot of the time, the best play to be made on a breakaway is a delay tactic, which allows your team to get into better position and gets the defense out of position too. I mean, I feel like that is really effective right now.
Anyway, we'll see. I mean, the other thing that I'm trying to talk them into doing is that we have like a 6-week draft off-season event so that like we can actually test the settings in an organized environment and you don't base it off of pub and scrim. So then people can get their draft fix and there can be some skin in the game and we can actually test the settings too.
Because you need that. It's
What's
absolutely.
Shaft doing?
I don't know. He like passed out for a second.
So
Cool.
we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
Sean,
Speaking of settings,
okay.
who introduced random damage?
Anyway,
Jesus, dude, what are you trying to open here?
I know, right?
No, I'm just curious
It's
because it just
strictly
seems like
random.
It's
a
been
weird
around for a long
decision.
time. It's been around for a very long time.
Like,
He was
what
Art
was the
Diley.
thought process for it? It just sounds like a very strange thing to do, where
Kind of just something they did, and
nobody questioned it or tried to revert it or anything.
Nobody had the ability.
Nobody had the
He
ability.
kind of was a dictator.
So what happened is once it was in, no one could remove it but him. So what are you gonna do?
Who was it? Sorry.
Art Diley.
Oh, okay.
Um,
And even now, like, it can't be changed.
I've heard they're going to take a stab at it.
Yeah, don't hold your breath though. This has been attempted.
I can't imagine that it would be that difficult to change.
So it's just like bot related and programming related.
Hard-coded.
Yeah, but you have to think about the energy levels of what everything costs. That's what random damage relies upon, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so because it's a bot and a coding issue, is this why Revo's taken up a programming course to make this change?
I think so.
It's not based on my own, my personal life. It is literally just Hockey Zone.
No, like because you kind of just pulled out this programming course out of nowhere, and I'm thinking, what's the motivation to do it? And it's like, okay, you want to get rid of random damage because you always die on full energy to level 1 ships.
Okay, but that's my experience.
By the way, there's no way you're full energy because you died of me, and I don't use velocity damage, so you're definitely thrusting a little bit.
I'm telling. When I say I die at full energy, I am at full energy.
You might be fooling yourself because you might be going by when the number value on your name disappears, but it disappears before you're full. So sometimes
I'm not. No, I don't use that. That's not what I'm using.
I'm just telling you, I'm getting 8-kid vibes.
What? I don't even know how you could say that.
That's what every time he dies, he says random damage every time.
Okay, but that's it, kid. I mean, that guy's probably gonna that guy makes a lot of excuses after plays, like not just random damage.
People are talking about fixing random damage before we fix the overpowered bullshit leb burst shots.
Wow, you don't like the levy?
It's a
well,
I gotta say the levy.
Theoretically, you're right.
Not a priority.
Theoretically, you're right, but nobody that plays it uses it well. So
it's a travesty.
Wait, is that because you want to play the levy without that?
It just has no place in competitive play.
Yeah, but it's a complete non-factor on almost every team.
Yeah, I think that the levy is still struggling for
No one's
relevance
abusing it, so
right now. And even if they do abuse it, it's still not as effective as you think it is, or like because it has that ability doesn't make it a great ship. Like it's still
No,
suck.
I'm not saying it is. It's just it's still a big. It can be influential.
Yeah, but it never is.
If the player sets their mind to it.
Right. I'm not saying it can't be influential using that as a strategy, but overall, it's still just a shitty ship. So even factoring in the plays where it is effective, there's so many other plays where a different ship would have been so much more effective in those scenarios. So like I'm not disagreeing with you, but I think the ship sucks. I think it still sucks.
It might suck, but if a levy plops down in the back, there's no way that a team can actually get the score if the lev is half decent.
You just literally shoot around it. I mean, everybody does it. They already do it.
Has very low procs.
Yeah, you literally just shoot around the ship. So I mean, I don't like that. I don't like that multi-fire thing as a mechanic either. I think I don't like it. It's not breaking the game right now because the ship is just so bad.
See, I disagree. I think that there should be different ships with different abilities. If you're going to give the Terror the OP ass pat, you're going to give the Weasel the slap shot that has 0 delay on it. Why can't the Levy have 3 burst bullets?
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's even an advantage a lot of the time, to be honest.
Well, people. It's a difficult ability to use, too.
I think some of the current levs would be better served if it wasn't there, just because.
I think what's great with a lot of the settings is each ship has an identity. The Warbird has speed. The Spider's got rotation. You know, the Jav's like a power forward. It can tank a lot of stuff, and it's got decent mobility. Like, I think every ship kind of has an identity, and I think that with the triple bullets, that's what the Levy gets.
Okay. You could give it a different ability too. You know, it doesn't have to just be that.
Yeah, but I like that it can just kill anyone at any time. But it struggles at movement. It struggles with procs. It has so many negative abilities. It's the same thing we talk about with the Warbird when people complain about the speed, and I'm like, yeah, but if you shoot it once off ball with almost any ship, it dies.
Save me.
Yeah.
We could do the same with like make the blue bullet level 3 bullet cost a lot more, take a lot more damage.
Yeah.
And just give it just give the goalies the level 2s.
I mean, yeah, there's lots of stuff you can do with bullets.
Shit you can do.
Yeah, with bullets and bullet damage. And
We never use the level 4 bullets. The fucking prize ones.
I think there's something to do with random damage with that.
Yeah. I think it fires off a random type of bullet.
Well, the bullet type doesn't change. It's just the damage tied to it does, right?
I think it fires off a level 1 or like it depends.
I know that Sean wanted to try to change the more clearly define the Jav's identity some and to make it able to tank relatively frequently. I got a one shot. It was very hard with the way that random damage worked.
That Jav was so funny.
I don't think any of that stuff is hard.
People thought it was overpowered. I thought it was worse than the current Jav.
Oh, I was torching people in Scrim with it, and they were hating it.
I was like,
It looked like it was going to be not nearly as good in competitive play, though, I thought.
It was so tough to play, though, because you were playing completely on random, because obviously it couldn't be tuned in with random damage. So, like, some plays you just tank, like, 3 things and it'd be hilarious, and the other plays, like, there was no skill to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're not able to access the module settings for random damage, playing around with bullet damage...
Doobie's talking about trying to take a run at it again.
What do you mean take a run at it? I don't...
Does Ark said he just will not even do anything at all with it?
Doobie's going to try and take a run at random damage.
Okay, what does that
Getting
mean?
rid of it.
Take a run at it.
It means that all the energy levels are based off of random damage, so it's really complex.
I understand what random damage does and is.
Yeah, so that's why it's so complex, and he's going to try and figure it out.
Oh. I don't think it's complicated to figure out once you're able to actually look at the code. I mean, the information that I have on random
the way it's hard coded into the module, I believe, makes it hard to mess with.
All that stuff, they're just values, right? Like, they're just values in the code.
Might not be that simple.
I don't think it's that simple either. Somebody would have done it.
Yeah.
The way that I understood it was hard for anybody to change random damage because of the way that Ark did it in the module. But, obviously I'm not a guy that's messed with it. I mean, we have professional coders that have said that who do it for a living, so...
Yeah, Pete's also dug into the code recently and found some interesting things which I'm not going to go into, but we don't know why they're there.
Yeah.
And once he compiles it, we'll kind of let some of that out if we can. I don't know. We'll have to ask Schitzmer.
Yeah, I mean, all that
Like
stuff
shady stuff?
would be interesting.
Not necessarily.
We need to use Incomplete's test server some.
There's some settings things in the way ships interact with each other that's coded into the module, and we don't know why it's even there.
I'm not sure why it even exists, or what is using it. That would be interesting. It'd be pretty
It
interesting.
might not even have anything to do with it at all. It's just.
Well, you got to keep in mind when people were writing the code for this, they were like learning code.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, man. I mean,
No,
Yeah, but it sounds like this was something.
The thing
done
about
with a
it is
conscious
that
decision.
the client can only do so much. So there's a lot of features that were coded by tricking the client into doing other things,
right,
to make it do the thing that it wants to do.
Yeah, you probably had to kind of like fudge it and like mess
Yeah,
with
that
it.
sounds like a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, to get it to do things that it wasn't designed to do. That's pretty interesting.
Well, I think what Pete's trying to dig into is why does the fucking ball phase so much? And
Yeah, that would be great to know.
he thinks he's on a path, maybe.
Yeah,
That'd be nice.
That would be something that
I kind of like it.
You like the phase?
Who says that?
It's like random damage, so random pass.
God.
Wouldn't be able to chant
I mean, the only people
anymore.
who like random damage are warbirds.
Can we tune it up a little bit?
Yeah, I don't even use the random damage though.
Yeah, can you tune up the phase a little bit, maybe?
It's like lifting the puck off the ground.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Okay, so I think why random damage was so complex. Now that triggered my brain is what it is that there's velocity damage and random damage, and they play off of each other.
Yeah.
So, like, you can't. It's just fucked.
I don't think it's fucked. I can't imagine that anything could possibly be so complicated that somebody couldn't understand it.
Well, yeah, I think you have to remove both of them.
You could start from scratch once you understood how it worked. in the
Jesus
code.
Christ.
I mean,
Right.
I've talked to Doobie in depth about this particular topic, and he was telling me that it would be such an undertaking that he's not interested in doing it.
This is a reverse engineer. I mean, I would like to look at it too myself.
Doobie is a very successful coder too. I mean, he makes a ton of money. That's
Doobie codes for a living.
I do too.
Yeah, but
He coded us an automated bot for Gimmick League in like an afternoon. I mean,
yeah.
I'm just saying, like, if as much as he hates it, he would fucking do it if he could just do it.
Yeah.
And again, I'm just happy that I got him back in the mix. I didn't think I ever